It's a great pleasure to welcome Andy Hughes this morning to chat and talk about 4319 Cymru. And if you're anything like me, I don't know a lot about 4319 Cymru, but I just get the sense that it's actually quite significant on the landscape of what God is doing in Wales. So, Andy, thank you for taking the time to come and share with us. I'm interested to hear more, and those who are listening are interested to hear more. So, why don't you just start off by just giving a brief introduction of yourself? Could you?
Yeah, by all means, and thank you for the welcome. As you'll pick up by my accent when I speak English, it's not the same in Welsh. I come originally from South London. I grew up in Brixton. But I was always Welsh. So
Oh,
although I
that's
was born and
interesting.
brought
Okay.
up in South London, my dad was from Penmaenmawrs, Colwyn Bay, Welsh-speaking Welshman. My mum's family were from just outside Porthcawl.
Oh,
In the
okay.
south. So I was the only kid in my high school that supported Wales at rugby in the 1970s when we won everything. So that's the beginnings. I met and married my wife in South London, Rachel, and we went on to have two children, Caris, who's now just coming up 34, and Hughes, who's 27. We moved. We moved out of London in the late 1980s into full-time paid youth children's ministry, originally in Cumbria, and then on the Wirral before coming, as I like to say, coming home to Wales in
Coming home.
1986.
Yeah, that's lovely. And you're just outside Bala now, aren't you? Am
We
I
are.
right?
Yes, we weren't originally. We lived in Prestatyn for 9.5 years,
Okay.
and then for almost 20 years now we've lived in Llanderfel, just outside Bala.
Lovely, lovely. So, for the person who has never heard of 4319 Cymru,
Yeah.
explain, tell us, what exactly is 4319 Cymru?
Yes. Well, it's quite difficult in as much as Rachel and I, my wife and I, were talking about this last night. Actually, it's quite difficult to explain in one simple sentence because we're involved in a number of different things. But essentially, we're a charity or a charity in progress. We're going through the process at the moment with the charity commissioners that exist to support the church in all of its expressions across Wales in mission. Reaching out to, in particular, to children, young people, and families outside of the church. In mission too, particularly looking at mission in rural areas, in discipling young people, and in strategic prayer, strategic prayer gatherings. So,
Gosh, there's a lot in there, isn't there?
there's
Really?
lot of things, and lots of different things, but in many ways very strongly connected.
Okay, well, my greatest task is sort of limiting you to 30 minutes.
Yes.
Really. So, yeah. You've had a journey, haven't you, to starting 4319 Cymru, and just tell us a little bit about that journey, because this is, so how long has this been in existence? 12 months, 2 years?
Less than that. No. We launched in January this year.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it was never our intention to launch a new charity and for it to come into existence at all. It was very much a God thing. So for the previous 28 years, I worked for I think it was Crusaders when I joined. It became Urban Saints in 2006.
Yeah.
Initially just in North Wales and then across Wales.
Yeah.
And undertaking sort of development work for them, and then subsequently had a senior role line managing some of the team elsewhere in Britain as well.
Right.
And then the organisation had a new CEO who undertook a review of all of the ministry and changed direction. In particular, pulled back from having responsibility for face-to-face work with children and young people, things like camps and groups. And as a consequence of that, last summer, we were told that our posts would be made redundant, and we actually finished. My wife also worked for them for the last 9 years, and we finished working with them at the beginning of October.
Okay, that's a big challenge for you both, really, wasn't it?
Yes, particularly after such a long time of working with an organisation, and obviously in material terms, the security that comes with that. But we can very much now see the hand of the Lord on that, and on the journey thus far. We when we were working with Urban Saints, we had a very supportive steering group who were based in Wales, volunteers in Wales who were oversaw the work in Wales. And the day after it was finally confirmed after consultation that we were going to be made redundant, that group met, and along with one or two friends that we'd walked with over the years, and decided that actually, while Urban Saints were going to stop this ministry, actually they didn't want it to see it stop, and so would form some kind of new organization.
Right. Okay. So that's brilliant, because there was obviously this heart to continue that sort of work, not just in yourself and Rachel. Did you say it is your wife?
Yes.
Yeah. Not just for you and Rachel, but also for the team that was behind you. And
very
so
much
that
so.
that's a great indicator, isn't it, that God is in this? Excellent.
Yes. And further from that, I mean, people ask, "Oh, what's 43:19? What does that refer to?" It must be a Bible verse somewhere, and it is. It's Isaiah, and it came about again. It's one of those God stories. So we met that first time, and at the end of that meeting, the person that was chairing that said, "Why don't we just between now and when we meet again, we'd fixed a date, ask the Lord what He'd like to say, whether there's a verse that comes to mind or anything else, and bring that to the next meeting." And so on the next meeting, it was an online call again, there were 9 of us on the call, and 6 people brought the same verse.
Okay.
Which was Isaiah 43, verse 19. And what they didn't know as they did that was that those were the very first verses that the Lord had brought to me personally way back in the 1980s, when the Lord called us out of secular employment and into children and youth ministry. So it immediately rang with me. And everybody just on the meeting just laughed and said, "Well, at least we don't have to worry about a name."
Well, exactly, because it's as if the Lord was saying, I don't want you to waste time on looking for a name, because I'm giving you it. I want you to get on with the real business. A name is important, but
and I should
very
say,
gracious.
It continues to come up. So the following morning, a good friend of mine has a daily devotion that he emails out, and the following morning, his devotion was based on that verse. Even this morning, as I prepared to was having my own devotion and preparing to record this call, the devotion that I use, it's the Lectio 365 from 24/7 prayer, finished up with that verse.
I'm so encouraged personally.
Yeah.
I'm so encouraged personally to hear that, that we got this right, Andy. That's great.
There we go.
Yeah. With regard to 4319 Cymru now, okay, if you had to, I know it's difficult to condense the vision of the mission into one sentence and one paragraph, but I'm going to sort of constrain you, okay? How would you describe the heart of what you're trying to do? What are you hoping to see God do with this now?
Well, at heart, I'm passionately an evangelist.
Okay.
And so my heart is to see God's kingdom come in Wales, the length and breadth of Wales, to see those that I love to see the church encouraged and built up. But my heart is for those who are not currently part of the church, and it's exciting to see what God is already doing. That we are, with the new research on the quiet revival and seeing people come into church, particularly younger people. We are seeing that here in Wales just as much as anywhere else that the research was done, and we're seeing new churches planted, and we're seeing. So my heart is to, and the heart of what we're about in 4319 is to join in as we see God's kingdom come, and to serve the Lord and serve His church in whatever way we can to make that come about.
So what I'm hearing is that there's no way you see yourselves as the answer, but you see yourselves as part of the answer.
No, we're here to serve. We're not here to build an organization that people belong to or identify with. We're here just to be, if please God, quietly working in the background, playing our part.
Yeah. In setting up a ministry like this, charity ministry, there are certain challenges, I'm sure, that, we've got some time here now to share, okay? But behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes on as far as challenges, and not necessarily sleepless nights, but, sort of being woken up at night with, how am I going to deal with that? Are you able to share some of the challenges that you've experienced?
Yes, in terms of setting up, obviously the charity, the big challenge is becoming a legal entity and all of those sorts of things. And the route that we've taken was via initially establishing a non-for-profit limited company that will then we're in the process of going through the process with the charity commissioners and Companies House of trying to transfer that into and make that a CIO with trustees and so forth. And that's a long process. It's taken us a long time because it does. So there are challenges with that. At a very practical level, obviously, there's the challenge of building support and both financial support and prayer support. And we're fortunate in that because a part of what we're about as a charity is a continuation of the work that Urban Saints previously did, and we were very much identified with. There've been a lot of people that were supporting us previously through Urban Saints that have stepped in and are supporting us now through 4319, and that's been a real privilege, really. Obviously, there's an ongoing challenge to continue to see that and to develop that, but God has been good. We're less than a year in, and it's well on the way.
Yeah. So, obviously that support that you're getting of people, and some has moved over their finances to support you as well. What other sort of encouragements are you getting from people, from organizations, from the Lord? What else is encouraging you? I know I appreciate it's early days.
Yeah. I think the thing that thrills me more than anything else has just been to see the level of engagement in the things that we felt led into. So some of the things that we are doing and are aiming for are things that previously were part of the work of Urban Saints, and some of the things are new. So things like outreach, planting and supporting outreach focus groups, and their leaders. Supporting the leaders, and continue to run camps for children, young people, and families, and to see the level of engagement with those, in almost a kind of seamless transition from one organisation to another. We ran 5 camps this summer in partnership with Urban Saints, and since the summer they have transferred all of the assets across to us so that we can continue to do so.
Okay, so give us the bigger picture then. So we've got the heart of it, which is you're an evangelist. You want to see God's kingdom come. You want to see people step into the kingdom through faith in Jesus. So give us the bigger picture as far as practically how you've touched on one, which is camps. Okay,
yes.
Give us a few sort of practical indicators of what you're going to be involved in, because possibly I'm aware that some people will actually connect with some of the things that you're doing and will want more information. So just give us that broader picture then, Andy.
Yeah. So I'll start with camps because you mentioned that one. So we are taking over the responsibility for a set of 5 camps, 4 on one site and 1 on another, which reach out to those outside of or on the fringes of church. So
as a typical evangelist would do.
So for example, we run 3 family camps with a large team drawn from across a number of churches across North Wales, North and Mid Wales, and they're not for nice Christian families to come and have a nice time together. There's a place for that, and other people will do that. But our heart is we're looking for churches to have a place where they can bring whole families who are on the they might have come to a mums and tots group, or they may have a son or daughter or more than one who's part of an outreach children's club or youth club, and so a place where instead of just running camps where the young people can come, where the whole family can come.
Do they camp?
Do they and camping and I mean, it's quite posh camping. We have hot showers and series of marquees and so it's not desperate.
And the connection is made through the local church.
Yes, and they come. So the leaders that are working with them come with them, and then obviously a part of whatever God is doing in their lives while they're away, and that's been thrilling to see.
And these are churches sort of across North Wales, did you say?
Yeah.
And you've had 3, 4 camps over this past summer?
There's 5, 5.
There's 5 camps.
Yeah, so 3 for families, 1 for 8 to 11-year-olds, and 1 for 12 to 18s.
Gosh, amazing.
So that's been a part of previously of our ministry with Urban Saints, and is now a work of 4319 in terms of organisation, and obviously that's not something we're doing and providing for everybody else, because there's only two of us. But we are kind of spearheading and coordinating and putting together the teams that deliver those, which is a very large group of people, over 100 people.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So camps is one. The other thing that's very much at the core, which is inherited from our previous work with Urban Saints, is about helping the church to start brand new groups that reach out to children and young people, and to, on an ongoing basis, once they're planted, then to support them. So we provide training for groups of potential leaders. They might be from just one church. So we worked. The last group that we were involved with helping to start was a new outreach youth work from a relatively new church, a church just a few years old, and they'd had this opportunity and a heart to do something in their community. So we provided some training for them and encouragement as they began. The one before was a children's club on Anglesey, run between 5 churches. And so we gathered together leaders from 5 different congregations.
5 different churches, okay.
Yeah, and very different churches, but willing to work together for a common aim to reach children in the community.
From different traditions, you mean? Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Excellent,
yeah.
Excellent. And so it can be done.
It can be done. It can be done where there's a heart for it, and they, we're keen to say, we've not worked together before in this way, and so we're not quite sure how this is. But as we went through the training, they moved. It was lovely to watch this group move from a disparate group of people, not quite sure who they were in the room with, to a group of friends that wanted to work together and support one another. And they have a little WhatsApp group for the leaders, and if one of the leaders is unwell or has something going on in the family, it's lovely just to see the way that they support one another. So even as they work together.
Yeah. So it goes deeper than the sort of the youth club and doesn't it? It goes deeper than that. It's a relational thing. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
So in addition to seeing new groups planted, we also support leaders who are running outreach work with children, young people, and families. We have a termly breakfast for people across North Wales. We come and have cooked breakfast and share together and pray for one another. We do that in partnership with Scripture Union Camry, and we also are involved in providing resources of different kinds for those. We're in the process of working towards building our website, which will be a bed of resources that leaders can access for free. And download and use with their groups. It's kind of tried and tested. So lots of different things. I guess the other big thing, maybe a couple of others to mention. I'm involved with a network across the UK called the Disciple Making Project, and the aim of that is to encourage youth leaders to not just run youth programs and youth clubs, but to make disciples. Simply because that's what Jesus told us to do. And so we gather every couple of months online, just for an hour, to encourage one another and to learn from one another and to talk about things we've tried or things that might be helpful. And again, partnership is a big thing. We do that in partnership with an organisation called Rain Ministries, who are based in Bicester, but operate more widely. So those are the principal things in relation to children and young people. The other thing, which is a couple of things which are quite different. One is we're beginning to draw together a group of people who are in the context of rural Wales, where very many of the remaining churches are very small in number and quite elderly, and in many communities they've already gone, they've already closed, including our own here. We're gathering together some people who have tried something or have something strategic to input into that kind of context, to look at, well, how do we encourage those who are left in their communities to, or the Lord is calling into communities to try something new that reaches out. So really looking at what's the future of the gospel in rural Wales. So that's kind of very exciting development for me. It's in its early stages, but particularly because we live in one such community, it's very, very exciting. And I guess lastly, the thing that's really been on our hearts is to be involved in strategic prayer, and that was very much the case before we left Urban Saints, but wasn't an easy fit for our work and job description with that organisation. And so we are involved in helping to facilitate a gathering of Christians across North Wales once a term in a high school. That way nobody can say, well, it's in that church and it belongs to them. English and Welsh together, with no other agenda than to worship the Lord and to pray for our region.
Beautiful.
And it has been beautiful. It has been lovely just to see.
This is face to face, isn't it?
This is face to face, yeah. Wyneb and Wyneb.
Yeah. Because I've come across that through another interview that I've done.
It's been lovely. A real privilege to be part of and involved in. And one or two other strategic prayer things. We'd love to see something like that begin in every region of Wales. There are some small things in smaller areas, things like Pembrokeshire Prayer Breakfast and one or two other initiatives, but it would be lovely. We would love to see that kind of thing established in other parts of Wales and with the same core values. It's not owned by a single church. It's about his church gathered together before him to worship him and to pray.
Excellent. You've given us a real sort of not just an overview, but you've gone into it in sort of some detail as well, to encourage and to give a great sense of of what you're doing. I want to share something that is sort of coming up within me as I'm listening to you. Okay, Andy.
Yeah.
And this is not so much directed to you. This is directed to the viewer. Okay.
Yeah.
In that, what I sense is that God is giving leaders and giving Christians throughout Wales here something on a plate, if you know what I mean. This is a resource that 4319 Camry is a resource that will support leaders, will support and serve churches. And I just would urge, this is what's on my heart, I would urge leaders of churches or leaders of ministries or whatever to take advantage of what you are doing and what you are offering. Because I sense the only description I can give is that the Lord is presenting it on a plate. It's on a plate in front of us. And the church needs to draw from this and start, using what you're offering. If that sort of leads to you being busier, then I apologize. But do you know what I mean? I have this sense.
And that's our heart. Our heart is to serve the church and to in all of its expressions and to help people to achieve the things that they might think, well, that might be possible, or even that's too difficult, but to help them achieve that in order to reach the people of Cymru.
Yeah, and it's a case of if somebody's got a heart to start some youth work in a church, of not needing to reinvent the wheel, basically. Of they've got no experience themselves and they've got a heart for it and they want to do it, and and everything that's involved in that. But they can come to you and get some pointers and get some training and
And of course, we bring that not from a vacuum of this is something that we know about, but we bring that from we're practitioners. Rachel and I are involved even today in running children's and youth ministry in the village in which we live. That's and those that come are predominantly, with the exception of one family, are unchurched.
And you've got how many years' experience? 28, did you say?
28 years working with Urban Saints. I've been involved in youth ministry for 46 years.
There you go. Drawing on that experience, drawing you yourself, Andy, at a resource. So I hope I'm okay to say that. But I really want to urge people to get in touch and just to take advantage of what you're offering and what you're doing. And
we're not trying to create our thing. We're trying to serve people as they and would welcome that.
Yeah. So that's one way of people drawing from you. Okay. How can people input into you, and support you? Sort of, what are the obvious ones? Prayer, finances.
Yeah,
How do they
all of those
engage with
things.
you?
Yeah. I'd love to say, here's our website. We've built it. You can contact us via that, but we haven't yet.
You've got a Facebook page, though, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a Facebook and we've got a presence on Instagram as well, so people can contact us through either of those.
I'll put those details in the description.
Yeah, and by all means, put email contact on the description.
I will do that.
That'd be great. We'd welcome people being in touch. If and understand clearly they can deal with this in either language too. We're happy to deliver what we deliver through the medium of Welsh or English.
Yeah, just to make that clear as well, that we had a chat about this and we decided that this interview was best conducted in English. But, funnily enough, our language of choice is Welsh when we speak to each other, and we had to switch to English to do this interview. And so, for any sort of Welsh speaking, first language Welsh speakers there, I know that Andy is absolutely comfortable and very. Sometimes you put me to shame as far as the Welsh is concerned, Andy. But we won't go down that way. So people can support you financially. Yes, you would welcome that, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the situation is as far as supporting you and Rachel personally, supporting the ministry, supporting in prayer. You can work that out with people.
Yes, we can, and the easy way in is for people to sign up if they just simply drop an email through and ask to be added to our newsletter. We have it every other month. They'll get an update on what's going on.
Excellent.
And also by email, and then some more details how they can support us. And of course, people are, as is the case, welcome to stop subscribing to that at any point.
So where I like to end, Andy, is by just asking the guest: do you have something really burning on your heart that you really need to share? Before we bring this to a close.
Yeah. Well, why don't I read the 43:19 from this morning's thing? For this morning's.
What a great place to.
And there's a prayer that came before it, so it might be good to do that.
Yeah.
So the prayer is this: Jesus, I give you my trust today, weak as it is. Strengthen me to step out in faith as I wait and wonder. Show me new paths that I cannot yet see. Open the doors of my imagination as I trust in you. And then it finishes up with the yielding promise, which is from Isaiah 43, verse 19. For I'm about to do something new, says the Lord. See how I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness, and I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. And as we look at parts of Wales, and we think that looks too dry to ever be anything else, or it looks too much like a wilderness for there to ever be any hope there, we have the word of the Lord that says, I'm doing it.
Amen. Amen. What a great place to end this. Okay. Brilliant. Andy, thank you very much, and God bless you. Looking forward to hearing how this sort of gains even more momentum. Okay.
Thank you.
Bless you.